So, hello, everybody. Our special board meeting on May 28th, and we'll do a quick round of roll call. So I'll start off since I am speaking. Michael Mezejewski, Governing Council Chair, and go around to everybody else. Introduce themselves.
Chris Kenworthy, Vice Chair.
Kathy
Skip
Garden,
Mackey, Secretary.
Kathy Garden, Board Member.
Gloria.
Gloria is muted.
Gloria, I don't know if you can hear us, but if you are, you have to unmute. We can't hear you.
There she goes.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We
We
sure can.
Okay, I am here.
Thank you.
And also in attendance is Karen Warner and Jackie Boak. And so just bear with me 1 second. My screen's shuffled on me here.
No worries. We actually don't have any attendees. So the next thing, Mike, was public comment, but I'm just going to tell you there's nobody here.
Okay.
So you can move on to the agenda approval.
Yeah,
for today.
just trying to pull it back up. I don't know where it went to. Oh, here it is. It's on this screen. Sorry about that. I have too many windows open and it got buried underneath someplace. Okay, so we are moving on to has everybody had a chance to review the agenda, and are there any questions regarding it, or do we have a motion to approve and proceed?
I'll motion to approve the special agenda as written.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 No opposition, thank you. And okay, so we're up to financial services portion of the special meeting.
We need to do the minutes from the last meeting first, Mike.
Oh, okay. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
And are there any discrepancies, or do we have a motion to approve and proceed?
I'll move to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second.
I'll second. Go ahead, Gloria.
Okay, I'll
Gloria got
second.
it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so now moving on to governing council business, financial services.
Okay. So where do we stand with our choices on that? So we have our Axiom folks, and then the other option is the ELS a la carte piece of it. Is that accurate?
No, at this point, you would need to do a transition from your current Axiom proprietary software if you want to make a move into Aptifund. And I think the recommendation is to contract with the VHIL group, which I know we've had before, but they've grown and changed and are willing to work with the school to transition to back to the Aptifund software, which is kind of the gold standard of software across the state. And then eventually hire potentially someone in-house or some other vendor, potentially could be through Ally Up. But at this point, I think the proposal would be to transition to the VHIL group and then to Jackie, do you have
Okay.
more details on this?
Yes. All right. So last week I did have a meeting where we did discuss potential options for moving out and away from Axiom. As you guys know, with the audits and everything starting up soon, we do want to have an actual business manager, management team to support all of that fun stuff. Payroll is the big one, as now that we're changing when teachers are coming back, making sure that we're doing payroll and getting everybody done. Those will be things that we need to look at. So we would be doing, one of the proposals that was shared was kind of looking at a hybrid of, would transitioning away from Axiom and moving into the V Hill group for up to 6 months, if not a smidge longer, until we can move into an individual who could handle the APTA fund and the payroll systems like we are accustomed to. And that I've been asking for, looking at a true understanding of the budget from my background of, you tell me I have $3.5 million, I'm going to earmark the money where it goes. And so by, January, when I say how much money do I still have left, you're going to tell me what I have left. You're not going to tell me that I'm in a deficit because of a cash flow situation. So the APTA fund is more similar to what I'm used to with running a school. Previously, I used a system called Lawson. Lawson would then do the exact same thing. If I had $20,000 earmarked for custodial, I spent this much, what was my encumbrance, what is my remaining? That is what I'm looking to have. That is, I think, what would be more sound and beneficial when running a school budget. And then also not having the frequent surprises. I feel like just even 2 weeks ago, meeting with Axiom, we changed our calendar because we were told it was going to give us this much more dollars on the back end. And again, I had like another kind of surprise that it's like, oh no, only if you get X, Y, Z. Well, we kind of already knew that we had to do the lease purchase agreement in order for us to improve our rent, our payments. So that was known. But to then go and say I'm going to be negative $400,000 because of, I'm like, yes, but don't tell me I'm not going to hire. Again, going into a budget season, looking at like, this is what I need. Okay, I'm going to hire cautiously. If by any chance the 40th day comes and we're underfunded, yes, we would have to make cuts. That's no different than any other school site, regardless of a district or charter. But I think the big thing that we need to start seeing is a clearer picture of budgets run through an appropriate system, such as like the APTA fund, which is a little bit more similar to what I think most districts, most schools are using, not a cash flow system. I don't know what schools really operate on a cash flow system. And to say that you're out of budget, it's like, well, I mean, I get the reason that they say it, but it's also very different. The other big hiccup I've been having is payroll. Our payroll system with Axiom is very, very frustrating. I think I shared it with you guys. They entered their withholdings for staff. I had staff who have never, ever had to pay taxes before in their lives come into me end of January in tears because they had a pretty massive tax bill that they had to pay. The way Axiom does it is more of the withholding system that they use, from what I've understood, is just it's not the best. And those are systems that we need to get stronger, better, and more appropriate, so staff knows exactly what's going in, what's not going in, so that we're not adjusting mid-year or having, teachers come into my office full on in tears because they thought that they did their W-4, I-9s, all this W-2 and I-9s all correctly, when in fact there was a new rollout. And the individuals that we did meet with last week recommended that every year staff should go back and look at their W-2s to see, like, does anything need to be updated, any changes, and making sure that they're filling out the most current form. We should never give a staff member a form from 2019 in 2024. So we had some situations there, and that was all a little bit of Axiom's work. Just not doing it. I don't know the V Hill group. I will let you guys know that. I do not know them. But transitioning from Axiom to the V Hill group with the goal of transitioning into an APTA fund based system with somebody who's going to be a little bit more hands-on with our school, I think would be much more beneficial. I know that there were some questions and concerns the last time we met with Chris and Mike in regards to, was it going to be run under more of the ELS side? I personally, after the meeting I had, do not believe that it will be run through the ELS side. I believe we will be using the ALIOP ELS menu of services to use them to run through a business manager who does not, it would be cost savings if we use her with lieu of the ALIOP team. If another school or other schools use her to support us, and I think that would be very, very wise for us to look at how can we start, bridging this to where we have somebody more, I don't want to say in-house, but more hands-on. I think would be a wise decision. That was my understanding. Karen, I don't know. You were at
Yeah,
Karen was at the meeting.
yeah, I think that there have been lots of, and you guys have all questioned and expressed concerns about Axiom. And so that's the first decision. Like, are you pleased or happy with Axiom? I would say not. Um, I don't think Jackie is. I have had some concerns and questions. Uh, they have gotten mad that Justin and I might come to some of the meetings, and that's only because they don't like the questions we ask. And um, that's concerning to me because I shouldn't know more than them, and they shouldn't be intimidated by any questions I have to ask. I also found several meetings where they weren't able to answer your questions, nor did they ever get back with the answers. Um, and payroll's been a problem all year. Cut them some grace at the beginning because there was an employee who was messing things up, but it hasn't really gotten better. Leave is still partly because they use another part software called Mosaic, I think it is, for payroll. And Mosaic, they can't edit it themselves, so we don't even have the right categories of leave that we want. Not to mention, how are they really tracking it for people? Some rollover leave at some of the schools didn't really happen properly or was still confusing. How they pay people who start late and leave early has been confusing, um, and in some cases incorrect, where Bev pointed it out. I do think the W-2 forms we handle, or Bev has handled, so I'm surprised to hear that there was an old version. But I also know that the Mosaic software may or may not have been updated with the tax tables promptly, and that may have been contributing to the payroll tax problem. So assuming that you all agree that Axiom has not been best for the school, then what are our options next? You could look to um, hire any, there's very few. K to 12 accounting, the VHO group, Axiom. I think those are the three um, business management service providers in the state. Otherwise, people have school business managers either in-house, or we are proposing, Aliap is going to be proposing to hire someone in that area to work with the schools that use this model. But whether you stayed with VHO group or moved to that, I think it's a good move for the school. I think getting back into Aptifund will solve a lot of Jackie's encumbrance concerns and understanding what's really available in the budget. Um, and, um, the VHO group has agreed that they would work with the school for a short term, maybe 6 months or so, to get it switched over, so that if you do want to look for another business manager, um, you have time to do that, and they understand that that's the goal at this point. You could always change your mind, I suppose, and decide to keep the vehicle group. But either way, it does take quite amount of time to convert everything from Axiom into um, Aptifund and get it all cleaned up. And we do anticipate that that's probably going to take 5 to 6 months to get it all addressed. And
Yeah,
of course,
are there any issues? Because obviously, the Axiom software is proprietary. Are there going to be any issues with transition from one system to the other? And how are we legally bound to get the information that we need, basically. That they don't say, well, we
They
can't.
have, no, they have to provide the information, and there are other schools who've moved away from Axiom that have done this. Um, I don't expect, I don't know how, one of the things you need to consider is I don't know how cooperative Axiom will be, not just with the transition, they're going to have to allow it. How much support are they going to do in that process? I don't know.
That was a
But
question I asked too, Mike. Like and I was told
they have to.
legally they have to, um,
Mhm.
like they have to share. But I was also told we might see more, we might see a few audit findings, just because their system versus, going over to a different system, we could see some areas of audit findings there as well. Um, so yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm also concerned about the cooperation in the audit itself, right? I know that Axiom complained about the lack of support they reportedly got from whoever the prior business manager was at another school. But I don't know. You're going to have an audit. You're going to have, it's going to roll over. It's going to start in June, but it's going to roll over into the summer. And um, so there will be some pain points here for sure, no matter what you do. But I think overall, my recommendation would be, as much as I hate to say it, because I like Katie and I like Josh personally, um, but my recommendation would be that you should switch. And uh, I am really thankful that the Vigil group, who's very experienced with, um, they've done this before. They have the active fund expertise that they're willing to do something on a short-term basis with you, if you decide to do another option eventually. That's been the discussion with them. They understand that. So um, I think that's the best way to go, because even if you hired one person, um, that transition is going to be, it needs some more expertise probably than I would
And
like to have the vehicle group.
just we've all seen and experienced, you know, a lot of the mishaps with Axiom, and I think that like Jackie said, is we need to have a better grip on where we stand on on these transactions, and our projected budget. I know that when I get these emergency phone calls or texts that I need you to prove this right away, and but you're proving something and the dollar amounts on there don't match up. It's very frustrating as far as saying, well, how do I prove 100,000 when it shows that we have 10,000? And these are all things that we've been asking for over almost 2 years now. So I think that I agree with your recommendation as far as switching, and I think that it is a good idea as far as the short-term contract with VHIL. So this way we can see if we're going to take that on internally or if we're going to stick with them. I think that that is a good solution. So I don't know if there's any other questions, or if we have a motion to transition to VHO Group for a 6-month contract, with the anticipation of seeing where we progress from there.
I'll make a motion to pursue the switch to the VHIL group in, how would I word that? Because we haven't seen a contract yet, so we can't approve the contract, but we can. So I'll make a motion to pursue the
Retain the contract and transition from Axiom to VHO Group. Would that be the correct terminology, Karen?
Yeah, Jackie, I'm just not sure. Did you get pricing from them? No. Because
We got like
I'm just thinking,
um I remember if I want to say there was like 3 options, but it wasn't like, so it was presented to both myself and to ABQ. I don't know if it's the same. I do think having like that, we never really got one to say like, here's what ABQ would be spending. Because there was like option 1, option 2, option 3, but it was all variant on like how, like if Axiom just like up and left, it was going to be this much. If Axiom and the V Hill group worked together through the audit, it was going to be this much. And then I think there was another option. I
I
honestly,
think to Chris's point, I think it's a valid question, but what reason I'm hesitating and pausing here is I'm just thinking about what does the transition look like if we don't approve moving over today. It's not night. Um, our next meeting is when? June, when
18.
did we say?
19th.
That's kind of late for a transition to start before they're done for the year. So, or maybe it's not, I don't know. So maybe we
I-
need to pause. Okay.
I could reword the motion to pursue the transition and delegate authority to the chair and Jackie to approve the contract.
I have a
Right.
screenshot. Let me see if I can get it to you guys.
I do know for Albuquerque, and I'm sure it's either the same or less for you all. I know Albuquerque's was it was under 60 grand because at first they said, do we need a contract? Do we have an RFP? And they did it. We found that they could use, just like Axiom, they have an ACES and they also have a CES contract, but the amount was lower than the 60 threshold anyway. So it wasn't an issue, but I don't know the exact amounts. And then
Wasn't Axiom going to be like 89 or something like that?
98.
90. My dyslexia. Yeah, so I mean, if we're allowed to do that because it is over that threshold where just Jackie can sign it, and are we allowed to as a board to delegate authority for one of the board members to sign the contract?
yes, so you had a delegate the board chair and head administrator,
Can I share? I don't
or
know if
who'd
I
you
can
have?
share this, Karen.
I'm not sure if it should be.
Let me see. It's the proposal of rates.
Can you, it doesn't mention anything specific going forward?
No, don't
Okay,
think
then I think
so.
if it's just pricing, I think you could share
It
it.
looks like just pricing. Okay, should I not share?
No, if it's just pricing, you can
Okay.
share that.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Oops, shoot. So this is what I was presented with, and so options 1, 2, and 3. If Axiom works entire audit and extends contract to work on transition, this is what we would be paying, the 18,539. Scenario 2, Axiom works partial audit and minimal transitional help. The V Hill group would charge us 37,000. If on June 30th, Axiom just says peace out and the V Hill group has to take it all, it would be $56,178.
For
So,
seven
7 months.
months.
right. And so remember, Axiom was proposing 98,000 for the year. This still does leave us, well, you can see the monthly
Depends
rate,
what happens, yeah.
right?
If Axiom did stop supporting on June 30th, so worst case scenario, right?
Mhm.
You're still gonna have at that rate, right, 5 months more. So you're gonna be pretty close probably to the same price as Axiom, but overall for the year is my guess because we may even be able to finish in less than 7 months, but
We'll need
let's say 7
to
months.
work with Axiom to come up with some sort of a transition contract with them as well, correct?
Yeah, I think when you need to advise them that you're not renewing the contract and then have some deliverables and options for them, which would be the next thing we need to work on. But yeah, yes.
So those dollar amounts there are actually yearly they're not a 7-month price when you figure them out.
Mm,
Because 3090 times 12 is 37,080.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, it's prorated for 7 out of 12 months is what they,
Uh,
Yep.
but yeah, the
But
month,
if you pay a monthly amount
right,
at the bottom
right.
times 7,
Right.
there's
Mhm.
something wrong with this.
I see what you're
Unless
saying.
unless
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
spread out over
Yeah.
the year.
Like it's too much, right?
The top amount is high if the bottom amount is only paid 7 times. Unless they're asking you to pay it, spread it out over the year. Is that what's happening here?
Because even if we did, if you took that 3090 or whichever number and you multiply it by 7, it's
21,630.
Right.
Yeah,
What happens
those
if you
numbers don't,
multiply it by
those numbers don't
by
line
12?
up. So I would agree that can we get a contract?
Well, I'm going to tell you that that amount at the bottom, if you multiply it by 12, it equals the top amount.
right.
So
Well,
I don't know.
close
Mhm.
to
I
it.
don't
It's
know
not
what the
exactly. It's
yeah, because there might have been cents in it rounded, right? So
right.
maybe or something. I don't even know. But I don't know then what this is the first I've seen it. But if they are intending to spread your payments out over the 12 months, even though they're only working 7, or what, we obviously don't have the exact details and need to get that finalized, which I like Chris's idea of delegating the chair or whomever and the head administrator to do that and get those final. But I guess what is helpful here is to know that what the amounts overall look like gives you a ballpark. But there's obviously not ready to be signing any contract yet.
I
Unless
mean,
they'd have to have a contract.
worst case scenario is that's your 7-month prorated price. Best case scenario is that's your 12-month price, and there's some other prorated amount that would be obviously less than that, right? 7 out of that. So those numbers can only get better, I think, if that's your
Mhm.
if that's your 7-month, right? Um, so yeah, I'm still game to make that motion. I mean, typically we can debate after a motion as well. So
Yes.
I'll stop
Yep.
sharing.
After a second, actually, if we want to be following Robert's rules, there should be a
Yeah,
motion
that's
a
true.
second before
Yep.
discussion.
Yep.
But I have that you move to pursue transitioning from Axiom to the VHO group, or you move to transition
Mm-hmm.
from
And
Axiom to the
and
VHO
and
group and
delegate.
delegate the board chair, or who? Delegate.
Board
He can
chair
certainly push back on that in a second, but yeah, delegate the board chair
and
to
school administrator.
And
to
head
sign.
administrator to finalize the contract.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, I like that. Finalize the contract.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Was Gloria a yes?
Yes, yes.
Good.
Okay.
So I will have to follow up with you on how we, obviously, Jackie, you and Mike will have to follow up with the VHO group, but then we'll also have to draft a letter, or as I said earlier, to notify Axiom that you're not renewing after June 30th, and then we'll have to propose some options or maybe, I don't know, we have to talk about it, and then what the deliverables should be from them. We should outline, I think, in the letter.
And Mike and Jay, I'm if you need input, second set of eyes, whatever. I think just the authority delegation is just for the signatures without a board meeting.
Absolutely. As long as you don't have a quorum meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on to legal services, and transitioning from our current representation to new legal services provided by Susan Fox. No,
Nope.
Patty Matthews.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was getting names mixed up from others. Um, we just had a brief meeting with her, going over what things would look like going forward, and kind of in the same boat. We don't have a contract from her yet. We just have roundabout numbers.
Pricing. Mhm.
Yeah, pricing. But she would once if we approve to move forward, then she will draft up a contract for us to review and sign. Basically, as we know, we've had high recommendations from Karen on her, and she has represented the schools in the past. Had retired, but is coming semi out of retirement, taking on just a few accounts. If we choose to accept, we would be. I think it's just the two, Albuquerque and Rio Rancho, that she would be representing. Correct, Karen?
In terms of Explore schools, yes,
Yeah,
but she may
exactly.
have a couple of other
Right,
schools as well.
but yeah, and she would be strictly part-time. She is trying to maintain a three-day work week. As far as that, $290 an hour would be her rate for general legal counsel, and then $400 an hour for the bond purchase agreement that we would have going forward with the building acquisition. It'd be a 1-year term, and I don't know, did I miss anything, Jackie or Chris?
Um,
No, that sounds about right. She did mention
yeah.
to do any type of mild or like a mini contract just for the month of June to July. But is Dustin our legal, is he until June 30th? Is that when all contracts would end? So that we wouldn't really need her from June 1 to June 30th? That was the only part I was not 100% on.
Yeah, absolutely. So my understanding is your engagement letter with the Weston Sparks law firm has a 15-day termination clause, so you can terminate with 15 days notice. He did not put any end dates in his contract, which seemed really weird to me when I went back and looked at it, because you are not allowed to contract for more than 1 year. Like, you can have a multi-year contract, but it has to be renewed annually. In the state of New Mexico, you're not allowed to commit beyond a year in those kinds of things. So uh, anyway, so I think he would have been providing an engagement letter for the new school year, and I assume his pricing may go up because he gave a really low fee, but I don't know that. And but yeah, you can give him 15 days notice of termination of the current agreement. As far as whether you need an overlapping lawyer or not, or terminate him 15 days, start Patty then, or if you can wait till July 1, really depends on what's going on at the school. So like Albuquerque, as an example, is going to do a small contract, which the head administrator can do just for the 1 month, because the amount will be low. Um, just because there's a grievance that's been filed. So if there's some ongoing legal work or support you might need, you may want to do that. But otherwise, and again, it's only billable if you use it, right? It's an hourly rate. Um, so that's really up to you, Ms. Bogue, and the board. But um, I do also know that Ms. Matthews has said that she doesn't want to do, if there was ever a special education lawsuit, she doesn't want to do special ed. I don't know if she shared that with you. She has a attorney that would recommend, but we are welcome to find other attorneys for that service. I mean, you can have as many attorneys as you want, really. But uh, I would prefer you don't have several attorneys. But for special ed, Danielle Nee and your special ed staff help protect us from any of that already. But should there be a lawsuit she would want to refer us to another attorney. Um, I know that her rate is much higher per hour for general support, but I also know that she's quick and she answers promptly and she doesn't have to go look things up. And it doesn't take me 5 days to hear back from her. She's apologizing if it's a day. I do know she wants to work Tuesday through Thursday, um, unless it's an emergency. And I don't see any way that we can't honor that. So, other than maybe PEC meetings on Friday, which I've already cautioned her about, if we ever needed her there. So, I do want to be honest, like it is a higher price from what you're currently being billed per hour, but my experience with her in the past has been that uh, it's much cheaper because she knows the answer. She gives you the answer quickly. She takes her calls quickly. She responds quickly. I haven't had that same experience with Mr. Sparks' firm. And I also do think that some of that is because he's based out of Colorado and is still learning New Mexico. But I, um, and your school had Matthews Fox, which is her firm. You were working with Sue Fox because she was overloaded, Miss Matthews was. But Patty Matthews is this lawyer that I told every school when I was up at PED, that's who you want for your charter school law. She has been in charter school law since its inception in New Mexico. She used to work at the charter schools division as a director there, and she knows her stuff. And she's a formidable opponent. I've been on the other side of the table from Miss Matthews, and so um, I just have the highest respect for her. And honestly, if I knew she was taking people, I would have recommended her before, but she was retiring, so we didn't have her as an option.
I think the only thing of note that she mentioned that could potentially increase our costs is that as part of our retaining her and our agreement with her, she'll require reviewing any contract that the council signs or that Jackie signs prior to signing it. So
That's probably good protection for you, but yeah. Um,
Yeah,
so I think
I think we kind of move into the same motion as we did on the financial services because we don't have a written contract, so we would designate and obviously since I can't if I'm the designee, I can't make the motion. So
yeah, I can make it again. So I'll designate to move. I'll designate, or I'm sorry, I'll make a motion to move to Patty Matthews LLC for our legal counsel and designate the board chair to finalize any agreements with
and
her
and school administrator.
and school administrator.
I'll
And
second.
it's Patricia Matthews LLC is the actual formal company name.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Karen, can you clarify? You mentioned that we have a grievance. Is it the same?
no, it's
for-
another school that does. That's
Okay.
why they chose to have a contract with Patty immediately because
Okay.
they want her to help them with that
Gotcha.
grievance.
So I was like,
So they're
oh,
giving a 15 days notice to Dustin, but they're doing a contract for Patty.
Yeah.
So
And
much depends on whether you need it now or not.
it sounded to me like she would draft an agreement for you, Jackie, that's under $25,000 so that you can enter into that prior to the end of the fiscal. If you need it, right? And then there'd be a cap of 60 on the 25-26 school year agreement so that it keeps it under the RFP cap. And then we don't need to go through the RFP process. So that should be in the finalized agreement that Mike and Jackie signed for 25-26.
And just for historical purposes, I'll share that I have not seen until this year I have not seen bills over $20,000 for the attorney in any given year. I mean, you could always have some horrible case or whatever to deal with, but it's not been a very expensive over the history of Explore Academy. The lawyer services haven't been that high. And then and the bond deal price, that doesn't get paid by the school directly. That's through the
We
bond.
talked about that.
Yeah, she said that as well, that it would be wrapped up into that, so.
So that doesn't contribute to the 60,000. That's sort of a separate deal, if you will. She's very experienced in real estate and bond deals.
Okay.
Last thing,
Bus transportation RFP.
Jackie, you're the procurement manager, right? So you had an RFP. Board has to approve that before you send out the award letter.
So it's for the
I don't know
buses. Yeah, we put out, if you guys remember, we put out the RFP hoping or secretly hoping.
Let's see if there are other options.
If there was other options besides Herrera, unfortunately, it will be Herrera was the one that could meet our needs at this time. So it is just a review, and once that's done, I'll send it back to Lisa so she can get it out to Herrera, so that we can continue with our bus contract with Herrera for the 25-26 school year.
so
Unless
the RFP's been completed, and the only response we got back is Herrera. So
Correct.
is the board voting to select Herrera as the bus transportation vendor for the 25-26 school year? That's the
Yes.
okay.
And you will actually, after this, once they get the award letter, Lisa will be able to get the draft contract from PED and then bring it to you at the June meeting for your approval on the actual
Yeah.
contract. Yes.
But yeah.
Okay.
So I will make the motion to select Herrera Bus Company as the bus transportation for 25-26. Since we have no other response to the RFP.
By default.
I will second that emotion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
A reluctant aye.
I hope that we, Jackie obviously has this past year has tried to instill some things that we're looking for going forward, and I hope that those resonate with them, and that at least now we know how to make them respond to our requests a little bit better.
I hope.
Well, I would just say I don't know how much flexibility is in that contract, but if there's things that you found were working or that you wanted that maybe you got pushback on, I would encourage you to try to get those incorporated into that contract for this year, so that you've got some teeth and something to lean on. I can tell you, I remember the first few months I had a Google sheet where I was tracking bus arrival times every single day and reporting back. And I think fairly quickly that went away because they did get on top of it. Can you confirm something though for me? Did one of the bus drivers pass away
Yes.
suddenly
Yes.
at the end of, okay.
Yes.
All right.
So they parked their bus out on Zenith, and one of our EAs noticed that she looked hunched over and she actually wasn't feeling well. Ended up going to did her route. Went to the emergency room that evening, and she died.
Oh, wow.
Brain aneurysm is what the rumor I heard is that, yeah.
Yes.
Watch
Yeah.
out on
Oh,
Hippo
wild.
here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
very
just
scary.
the rumor that came from the replacement bus driver is
Sure. And to your point about the contract, there's two things. Yes, you can. I know that we've have held them to some things in the contract, so certainly we can ask Lisa to get that to you as soon as possible, so that the June meeting you can propose any changes to. But we also have, if you recall, that MOU that we started that outlines all the things that they're required to do, which resulted in them actually doing some drills that I don't know that they ever did. But we can use one or both of those agreements
yep,
to
compel them a little.
or to document the expectation.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we've covered everything on that. So let's go back here. So there's still nobody present. Are there any other board members have any other comments or whatnot? If not, then make a motion that we conclude our special meeting. I appreciate everybody taking the time out of their day to do this special meeting. We needed to get things done prior to our next board meeting. That was the reason for it. And our next board meeting is June 19th at 5:15. So no other questions. I will take a motion to conclude our meeting.
I'll move to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for all your good work.